Imagine you wake up one morning and your city is gone. Not destroyed by bombs, not burned to the ground, simply emptied. Every shop is shuttered. Every hospital is abandoned. Patients still in their beds. IV drips swinging in the silence. Every road out of the city is choked with millions of people walking, barefoot, carrying whatever they could grab in the 60 seconds before the soldiers came to the door. You do not know where you are going. You do not know why. You only know that the men with guns are not asking twice. This was Cambodia on April 17, 1975. And the man responsible was not a warlord, not a colonial invader, not a foreign power. He was a Cambodian who had once lived in Paris, drank red wine with his friends, and danced in the cafes of the Latin Quarter. His name was Saloth Sar. The world would come to know him as Pol Pot. Cambodia in early 1975 was a country already bleeding. 5 years of civil war had torn apart its countryside. American bombing campaigns had killed tens of thousands of Cambodian civilians and driven hundreds of thousands more from their villages into the swollen, desperate cities. When the Khmer Rouge, the radical communist movement that Pol Pot secretly led, marched into the capital, Phnom Penh, on April 17th, tens of thousands of exhausted, war-weary Cambodians lined the streets and cheered. The war was finally over. Peace had arrived. Within hours, that peace became a nightmare no one had imagined possible. Khmer Rouge soldiers moved through the city with loudspeakers, announcing that an American bombing raid was imminent and that everyone must leave immediately, just for a few days. It was a lie. The evacuation was permanent. 2 million people were driven out of Phnom Penh on foot. Hospitals were cleared at gunpoint. Surgeons pushed patients still connected to their drips into the streets. The elderly, the disabled, the dying. No exceptions. 20,000 people died in just the first week of the march. Pol Pot's vision was absolute and terrifying in its simplicity. He called it Year Zero. History, as Cambodia had ever known it, was to be erased. Money was abolished overnight. Banks were blown up. Temples were turned into prisons and warehouses. Schools were shut. Cambodians were reorganized into collective farms, vast outdoor labor camps, where they worked from before dawn until after dark, growing rice for a revolution that was eating them alive. But it was who Pol Pot targeted that revealed the true horror of his ideology. Doctors were killed. Lawyers were killed. Teachers were killed. Engineers, nurses, civil servants, killed. Anyone who spoke a foreign language, killed. And in one of history's most chilling details, anyone who wore glasses. Glasses, to the Khmer Rouge, meant you had spent time reading, and reading meant you belonged to the old educated world they were trying to obliterate. This is the man who had himself once sat in a Paris library, surrounded by books, writing essays about French poetry. The fatal irony is almost impossible to absorb. Families were deliberately separated and sent to different work camps. The Khmer Rouge understood that family loyalty was a threat to total control.
Children as young as 10 were recruited as soldiers and informants, trained to spy on their own parents and report anyone who expressed doubt, grief, or memory of the world before year 0. The air in the labor camps smelled of rot and river mud. The sound was the constant thud of hose on dry ground and the silence of people who had learned that speaking could get you killed. At night, exhausted families lay in open fields, staring at the same sky that had once shone over their homes, their schools, their lives. Now all of it gone. The most notorious symbol of the regime was S-21, a former Phnom Penh high school that was converted into a secret torture and interrogation center.
Of the estimated 17,000 people who entered S-21, fewer than 12 survived. The Khmer Rouge kept meticulous records and photographs of their victims, a chilling archive of faces, names, and confessions extracted under torture. What most people do not know is this: Pol Pot never appeared on television. For years, most Cambodians did not even know his real name. He ruled from the shadows, referred to only as Brother Number One, a ghost who directed the deaths of nearly 2 million of his own people, somewhere between 1/5 and 1/4 of Cambodia's entire population, while remaining almost completely invisible. The regime finally collapsed on January 7th, 1979, when Vietnamese forces invaded Cambodia and drove the Khmer Rouge from power. Survivors emerged from the fields and forests into a country that no longer had doctors, teachers, engineers, or even the most basic institutions of daily life, because every person who had ever held those roles had been murdered. The silence that greeted liberation was not the silence of peace. It was the silence of a civilization that had been systematically unmade. Pol Pot was never brought to justice in any meaningful way. He lived in the jungle for nearly 2 more decades, protected by factions still loyal to the Khmer Rouge. In a 1997 interview, when asked directly if he felt responsible for what had happened, he said, "My conscience is clear." He died in 1998 of apparent natural causes, never imprisoned by the world, never tried in an international court, never forced to look at a single photograph of the 17,000 faces that passed through S-21. Today, the killing fields outside Phnom Penh are a memorial site. You can walk the paths between the mass graves. There is a tower filled with the skulls of the victims, arranged so that those who come can look and remember. What happened in Cambodia between 1975 and 1979 was not ancient history. It was not a story of distant empires or medieval armies. It was a man with a university education and a quiet smile who decided in the modern world, with the whole of history available to him, that the answer was to erase everything and start again. The lesson Cambodia left behind is not about the past. It is a warning about what happens when ordinary people stop asking questions and when the world decides to look away.